Welcome to the My Three Things podcast with your host, Will Byington. Each week features Will alone or with a guest, a celebrity, actor, musician, athlete, author, influencer, or friend sharing their three favorite things of the moment. What they are watching, reading, listening to, interested in, or enjoying. Hopefully turning you into your new favorite thing. And now, here's your host, Will Byington.
Hello, everybody. Will Byington here with another episode of My Three Things. Thanks so much for tuning in, and welcome back for season 2 of my brand new podcast, where we talk with influencers, athletes, musicians, rock stars, authors, just about anybody I can find who can share their three things that are rocking their world at this current time. My Three Things, back for season 2. You can find it wherever podcasts are found. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click a like below and subscribe. I can't tell you how much that helps me out as well. Please share it. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and just about anywhere you can find a podcast these days. Please share it with your friends. Hashtag My Three Things Podcast. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you like, what you enjoy, and hopefully it's turned you on to your new favorite thing. This week on this episode, I can't believe I'm able to introduce you to one of my good friends, a fantastic singer-songwriter, as well as a finalist on The Voice, as well as the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day. That's right, it's the one and only Tony Lucca. Everybody, say hello. What's up, my friend?
Not much, dude. Hanging in, man. Hanging in there.
Man, it's so good to see you. You know, the last time we did this for one of your MoVerb Lounge Sessions, a special rock boat 6-man edition. And now, thanks for returning the favor and coming on My Three Things. How are you?
Heck yeah, man. This is super cool. I'm good, dude. And it's it's fun because I do a lot of Zoom for co-writing down here in Nashville. You know, like a lot of people just obviously went to the Zoom platform, and still for the most part, you know, the writing thing tends to be a lot of blind dates and people that I have never written with before, or people that I kind of know, but like just like this sterile thing. But it's a whole different story when you're Zooming with someone who like you just would love to like wrap your arms around and give a noogie and like, dude, what's up?
Dude, those days are coming soon. I hate that I hate that I missed you. You were just up here in the Chicago area, and I hate that I missed that show because
well, like you had other things going on, man. It sounded like you caught some pretty unforgettable magic yourself. So totally cool, man.
It's the problem with everything going on right now because everything's coming back, which is what we need.
Yeah.
But then there's also that whole, you have to make decisions, and I don't like doing that.
I'm really bad at that.
Yeah, it's if only we could just, again, find a way to clone ourselves so we could be in like 87 places at once.
Yes.
So
yeah,
talk to me about, one, before we get into My Three Things, you got MoVerb Lounge, MoVerb Sessions. You're on season 4, I believe.
It's season 4, which sounds a little ridiculous. I'm kind of going like with the NBC The Voice kind of template for how many seasons I can get in a year.
Yeah, hey.
But it's we're kind of doing it seasonally, I guess. And so there we are. A year later, we're already in season 4. And yeah, this, but it's also been like trial and error. I tried to, you got to find that saturation point with the live stream thing, and like how often is too often and how often is it. And we spent one season really just kind of ironing out the kinks on it because there's a lot of production elements and things that I was new to. Then we spent a season where I really went hard in the paint on production and getting interviews and making sure I had a bunch of fun bells and whistles to go to. Third season, we kind of danced around trying to find maybe a sweet spot night or time slot that we had not been aware of this whole time, and we lost about as many viewers as we might have gained. So we went back to the drawing board, and this new season I think is the jam, man. It's every other week between now and like into December. So it gives me ample time to like get my production and promo elements in place in between episodes. I don't burn out on it. The fans are like they're with me, and it's consistent though every other Wednesday. So it feels good to kind of settle into that, man.
Dude, I love it. I love it. You've been killing it with your guests, with your songs, with your stories. I mean, it's what you do so well.
Thanks,
Uh,
man.
you've got one where you're doing your latest album, and then the one coming up in a couple weeks. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, dude. It's I am tackling this behemoth right here. Joni Mitchell's Blue. Um, yeah, I knew that, like, because for the uninitiated, I suppose, the MoVerb Lounge Sessions, every episode is a different theme, and I'll pick like I said, maybe one of my albums I'll play start to finish, or I'll pick a genre or a decade, or piano jams where I'll just do nothing but piano songs, or a wish list where it's songs I wish I wrote, kind of thing. So I knew I wanted to cover a classic album on season 4, and I just didn't know like what it might be, even though I think my fans might have really enjoyed me covering like No Strings Attached by NSYNC or something obnoxious like that. I was like, nah, I'm gonna pivot over to like the Tastemaker set and see if I can get the hipster crowd to tune in. And this is the 50th anniversary of Blue. She put it out in 1971, so here we are. It's an album that's really dear to me. I grew up with it in the house. My mom was a big fan, and I just, like I'm a huge Joni fan, so I thought, man, let's try this. And sure enough, so far, like a lot of the fans are really stoked and excited to
Dude,
check
that's
it out.
awesome.
It's gonna be a lot to tackle because I mean it's just when you think you know something and then you like try to learn it, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea. So, but I'm in good shape. I still have 2 weeks, so I'm in good shape.
So tell us that's gonna be live
Yeah,
live on.
September 22nd. The live stream is 8 p.m. Central on the 22nd, and then as is the case with all MoVerb shows, if you buy a ticket or the link to get the access to the show, that link stays active for 72 hours after the show. So you're good like into the weekend. If you miss the actual real time live broadcast, there's plenty of time to catch it.
That's awesome. And I'm going to put links down below with everything for the MoVerb Lounge sessions and links
Cool.
to
Thanks.
everything Tony's doing. Oh, dude, it's so cool. And yeah, it's going to be cool to hear the Tony Lucca spin on Joni
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah. Well, I
Because
mean,
everything
that's the
you do
thing.
is your own spin. And I love that.
Thanks, and it's this one's kind of forcing me to do my own spin. Yeah, like normally if I picked an artist like a Dave Matthews or a John Mayer or even a like a classic rock record to cover, I might get caught with the imposter syndrome thing, like trying to impersonate them a bit. Whereas the Joni Mitchell thing, like Blue, is when she was in her very almost operatic,
Yeah.
pristine soprano voice, and so I'm at least doing it an octave lower. So it's just having to find a key that sounds cool and believable and really brings out the essence of the songs, because that's I think what the masterpiece of that album is.
Dude, that. Now, have you ever seen her perform live? Have you seen
I
Joni Mitchell?
did. I did. I one time, man, and I get chills just thinking about like I did. Wow. um, I saw her. Get this, dude. It was a three-way bill: Van Morrison, Joni Mitchell, and Bob Dylan in
What?
1996 at
What?
UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah, 1996 or 97 or 8. I was in there that window. Holy moly, dude. Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty fantastic. And she had Brian Blade on drums, who I'm a big fan of musically. He's great. But yeah, it was crazy. Van Morrison opened the show. She played. They did like a handful of dates on the West Coast, a few on the East Coast. She was always the second of three, but I guess Van and Bob would alternate. And the show that I caught, Van kicked it off. She came out, and then Bob closed it out, and it was just like, oh my God, this is happening.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and was it a good Van night and a good Bob night? Because I've seen both of them, and sometimes they're a little hit or miss.
A little hit or miss, man. That is true. It was a good Van night in that his crass sort of, um, I don't know. Put it this way: it was 2 weeks after Frank Sinatra had passed,
Oh wow.
and he played "That's Life."
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Dedicated it
All right.
to him, and it was just like it felt very tongue in cheek, like, oh, that's life. Sorry, Frank, we'll miss you. Um, But yes, she was magical. And then Bob, yeah, Bob, even then, dude, we're talking late 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Bob was already like an animatron out there, man. Just it was hard for me. I was never a big Bob fan to begin with, truth be told.
What?
I know, I know. I mean, the lyrics and the work and the art of Bob Dylan is all time. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's required reading, but just musically, I was never got into it, man. And I'm ashamed to say that, but so yeah, like watching him, I was like, wow, man, you got to really want to see some Bob Dylan to get into
Yeah,
that.
it's funny. I am a Dylan fan, and I've seen it. So I actually probably around that time, I booked him for homecoming at the University of Alabama. So Halloween 1997, I booked Bob Dylan for homecoming. As a kid from Chicago, I was like, it's Bob Dylan, like it's huge. The show bombed. Like other college kids in Alabama apparently didn't want to see Bob. They were like Tony Lucca, not a fan. The show bombed.
Oh
I
my
could have
God.
booked like 3 cover bands and had more people than we did. It was the basketball stadium in Alabama, Coleman Coliseum, and we had like 2,000 people. But the thing that I'll say is that show
Oh,
he was on, it was great. Like he brought it that night.
ah,
But I've also seen Bob Dylan like other times where you don't even know what song he's singing. He's always lyric.
yeah,
His voice has always been not 100% there, and
yeah.
you're like, is this Tangled Up in Blue? Is it? I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. There's Blue. Yeah, he just said Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said
So
blue.
yeah. But dude, Van Morrison, Joni Mitchell, and Bob. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Appreciate Bill.
Well, dude, that's awesome, and that leads us perfectly into Tony Lucca's My Three Things. Again, the idea is always 3 things that's rocking your world right now. I started this during quarantine, during COVID. I started it because I feel like we missed out on sitting at a bar, talking to a bartender, and having the bartender be like, "Oh my God, you got to watch this show."
Yeah.
Or we missed out on riding in an Uber and having the driver striking up a conversation, having him be like, "Have you heard this song? Listen to this." I feel
Yeah.
like we need that in our lives, and so that's the idea. And I bring on people like you to tell us what's rocking your world. So what's number one on
Well,
Tony
thank
Lucca's
you.
My Three Things?
Um, yeah, man. Well, number one right now, I'm reading a book that I'm kind of surprised that this whole genre has eluded. I call it genre, and that's being cheeky. I don't know how this have eluded me all this time, given that like, I came from a religious childhood, and then like as I became an adult, moved to California, had my horizons literally expanded, and realized like, what do I know? And holy cow! And I got into like studying comparative world religions and Jungian psychology and Joseph Campbell, the power of myth, all of these like really big lofty ideas. I even got into like Atlas Shrugged and Ayn Rand and all that shit for a little
Wow.
while.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
I had to like it was a clean break from the mega church childhood that I had. And so I was out in the wild or wilderness, like where am I gonna land? But are you familiar with Stoicism, like the philosophy of
Not, not,
Stoicism?
not really. Tell me about it.
Right, exactly. And it's basically like, I mean, a cross between um, like the Tao Te Ching, the Buddhist handbook, like the Jedi, the Force.
Okay.
It's like all of these notions of like what is moral and good and just and like this kind of we're going back to like the times of Socrates and Heraclitus and all these like old philosopher guys, right? Well, once in the human experience, at least once in the human experience on planet Earth, one of the most well-endowed, intelligent humans walking our planet just happened to be one of the most powerful. That was Marcus
Okay.
Aurelius, Emperor
Okay.
of Rome, and he was a Stoic. He was a Stoic. He was of this practice and this philosophy of Stoicism, which at that point had already had a long lineage, but its since has gone on to just maintain its proper placement in the firmament of world knowledge. But he wrote a series of basically like journal entries of just his grasp of life and what was cooking in those days in terms of being emperor and what was
Yeah.
right, just and things. And it was called meditate. It was been called Meditations, and it's a book called Meditations, and it's just him waxing poetic about his grasp of laws of nature and life and human existence, and it's so timeless and
And I was
crazy.
gonna say he probably wrote this. So if you're talking ancient Rome, you're
Mhm.
talking like AD. I mean, like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
BC,
He
BC
was
or AD, I guess BC probably.
believe Marcus Aurelius was
Okay.
AD. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's crazy. This is how little I know about the whole kit and caboodle that I gotta like. Now I'm in rabbit hole mode. Now I'm just
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
the hell, and I'm just learning as I go. But no, they do. He does kind of talk about piety and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
they also do still talk about the gods. The gods of those times. And yeah, but man, like again, creepy how timely and obviously my brain starts to whirl about like translations and over the years from the original text to today, and the vernacular and the vocabulary and things that might have been used in lieu of, but a lot of it's just very really something, man. And so yeah, I just like
Wow.
I pop
Fascinating.
yeah, I pop it on like on Audible if I'm out mowing the lawn. I'm just like cruising around on my tractor. Just wow, that's awesome. So that's yeah, it's got me seeing the world through a little more of a even keel, and definitely it just feels like when someone shares something with you or you watch something, you learn something, and it doesn't feel so much like an acquisition of knowledge as much as a recollection of shit that you already know, and you're like, that's right.
That's
that's
awesome.
what that's what's up. That's what I'm into,
Yeah.
man.
Isn't it crazy? It's also fascinating to me how much of. So I went to Rome in 2019, first time ever, and it was fascinating when you really do learn just how much hasn't changed. As much as the world's changed, how much and to think of a guy like that, a leader in, hundreds, thousands of years ago, and it still, like you said, still carries over, still applies.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's fascinating to think of leaders and just how those people are out there.
Yeah, and it's like, and how sad that countless, endless, experiences we've seen throughout history of despots and tyrannical, maniacal, crazy people in power and puppets and like, whatever. Just rarely does the combination align. It's like, seems like maybe some of the more intelligent people know better than to get involved with politics or wind up in power somehow. But like they said, at least once we know that maybe the two did totally find themselves simpatico in Marcus Aurelius. So I don't know.
Oh, that's
Worth
awesome.
exploring if people want to get a dose.
So tell us again, the name of the book is
The
Meditations,
name
you
of the
said?
book is Meditations, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's sort of a staple if you ever get into a philosophy class or whatever, and they look at all the different types of philosophy that came out of ancient Rome and Greece. That Stoicism is what you want to
Dig
check
it,
out. But yeah,
dig it,
Meditations
dig
is
it,
the name of this collection of essays from Marcus Aurelius.
dig it, dig it. Number one.
Yeah.
What's number two? What's number two on Rockin' Tony
Um,
Lucca's World?
Yeah, number two is season two of Ted Lasso, man. I don't know if you're a Ted Lasso fan, but you got to put that on the board, dude. Um, it's well, before I go nuts, are you a Ted Lasso fan? Are you
So it's funny. Literally, and I think now, like, 'cause I'm gonna take it. I think I'm gonna have to start telling people like it's gonna be Will Byington's My Three Things, except for Ted Lasso,
Ted Lasso?
because it's almost a universal. So you're episode two of this second season, and Ryan Dempster, former pitcher for the Chicago Cubs and Boston Red Sox, and all these. He was my first guest. He also said Ted Lasso. And literally what started this podcast was Ted Lasso. Like, I loved that show. I had heard so many people talk about it, and then just for whatever reason, I didn't watch it. And, sometimes shows get so hyped. And then you're like, I'm not going to watch it. It's never going to live up. I binge watched the first season probably in and there's probably 10 episodes. I probably binge watched it in 10 hours. Like, I feel like I watched it sucked in. Seriously, the best thing I'd ever seen. Jason Sudeikis is absolutely incredible. And now with season 2, with it being one every week, I'm like, I don't want to wait. I don't like this waiting thing. It's so good.
It feels gloriously old school. like it's a strange timekeeping source, fuck, it's Friday, and you just wait for that new episode to drop, and it's just so crazy, to think of how spoiled we've gotten in a very short period of time too. Only in the last handful of years did Netflix start dropping full seasons at a time, and you just binge like mad. Okay, well then as a caveat,
so real quick, what's your favorite episode? What's your favorite? How are you caught up?
We're caught
2 or 3 behind. So
I'm caught up on the new season. I'm finding that the new season is a little darker and a little more it feels long haul series ish, in that the character development stuff that they're doing is stuff. I don't want to call it the trappings of a long series, but if you're gonna see this through for a long time, you're gonna see some ups and downs, and you're gonna see character arcs that you're not totally into, but I'll wait it out, because I know that the resolution of this is gonna be that feel good, Ted Lasso experience. So that's where I'm at on season 2. I'm kind of all right, wait and see kind of thing, and there's enough humor per scene that I get a good belly laugh through every episode. But I definitely, the jury's out on whether or not I'm as over the moon about season 2 as I was season 1, but it's still just my favorite show right now.
Well, the 2 interesting things is, one is, it was fascinating when the stories came out that, Jason Sudeikis basically is living the Ted Lasso life. He separated. He went through his separation during it and after it. That was, and so I think it's got to be a little dark. Also, season 1 was so, I've called it cotton candy. It was so just happy that it's good to have some Roy Kent in all of them, and we all have some Roy Kent in all of us.
I find that more people, myself included, have the Roy Kent thing going on. Definitely. In fact, I just used that as an adjective the other day to describe how I'm feeling in this more recent surge of COVID, where I'm just fucking COVID.
And I just watched the Christmas episode, which is funny, watching that in August. It's just so good. It's so good. And it's so we have that room, like you said, but then and the his cussing, the episode where he's cussing and she's adding up the tally of how many pounds he owes, and he's like, how much do I owe now? 1,300, and for cussing, it's it's so good, so good.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much the jam right now. And that's the thing. I COVID notwithstanding, we didn't, my wife and I, we're not big TV watchers. We don't watch a ton of shows, but we definitely made the rounds of a lot of the more popular shows throughout the pandemic, and looking forward to certain shows returning, like The Morning Show, which was phenomenal.
Yep.
We actually just finally, a little late to the party, but just got caught up on getting caught up on WandaVision, and then we'll get into Loki as well. We did the whole Marvel thing during the pandemic with the kids, and just went through the whole thing in order. My son was very adamant that we do it in order. And I'm glad we did, because it does, it kind of hits all the marks when you do it that way. So yeah, this WandaVision is pretty interesting, and but I think it's funny because when you see a show like that, you can see that the intention was that people would binge those shows
Yeah.
because it's so unique and weird episode to episode that it's like you're never going to get a real read off of just one episode of WandaVision. You're going to have to like, hang on a second, what is going on here? You got to like watch it like a 10-hour movie.
Well, number three, final. What's the third thing?
I think yeah, the question might have been what have I been listening to and what musically is kind of moving the needle. I would be remiss, and this isn't like an excuse for a shameless plug because you did such a nice job of teeing that up at the beginning of the interview. But in studying, Blue by Joni Mitchell, obviously it's a mighty wormhole of just the rest of her catalog, and just watching how it falls in like the arc of her work has just been pretty remarkable. I'm starting to feel like a historian. I could give old Lester Bangs a run for his money on on Joni Mitchell's contribution to rock and roll. But it's been really fun because I spent years where like that's kind of all I was listening to was Joni Mitchell for a while, and it was really informing my work and my guitar tunings and my approach to lyrics and storytelling. And then, I kind of stepped away from it over the years, but to get back to it has been really cool. Actually, while I'm on the subject, have you seen the Apple Plus docu-series, 1971? The
Oh,
year
no,
that
yeah.
music changed everything? Dude,
No.
if I was at the bar, I would insist everyone at the bar go home and watch this thing. It's it, it's insane, dude.
So wait, what is
And it
1971? The
it
year that changed. What is it?
it's
I
called
don't even know about it.
1971.
Okay.
The subtitle is "The Year That Music Changed Everything."
Okay.
And holy shit, man, the amount of epic epic, like age tested music that came out of 1971 and what was going on. Everything from like the Beatles breaking up to Jim Morrison dying to Angela Davis and the Black Panthers and, Joni Mitchell's Blue, Carole King's Tapestry. Both You Got a Friend and Lean on Me were on the charts. Like Elton John's Your Song. I mean, 71 was bananas, dude. And it is an incredible docu-series, like the footage that they have and the interviews and the stuff that they just get all these phenomenal quotes from everybody, and you really it's just an incredible. Four Dead in Ohio came out and said it's like whoa, man.
Okay. Okay.
So I would definitely encourage you and anyone tuning in to, like, if you haven't checked that out, man, that's almost like watching, reading, and listening
Yeah.
all at once. So that would definitely be the trifecta
Well,
bonus thing. If there was a fourth
and
thing,
the
that would
one
be.
I need to add that because I definitely want to watch that. And the other one on my list is is it Questlove that did the Summer of Soul? I think it is.
Yeah,
There's a documentary on that, and I think that was 71, 72, if I'm not mistaken. That's
yeah.
based on.
Wouldn't be surprised, man, because Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" was 1971. Like
Was it
Jesus.
really? Okay.
Yeah, just crazy sauce, man. T Rex, bang a gong, like, get it on, like a whole Alice Cooper, fucking you name it, dude. It was really, really something. But yeah, I caught Terry Gross, Fresh Air. She was doing like a week long bit of interviews with people in and around that whole. She interviewed Amir Questlove as well.
Okay.
About all that, and I love Terry Gross. She's fantastic.
Oh
But
man, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, it's and I'd give anything to be able to go back to the Troubadour. If I could go back in time It sounds like 71 would be a good time. Just go hang out at the Troubadour around that time in LA and just have your mind blown pretty much daily, probably.
There's a killer scene about Carole King and the Troubadour in 1971 in this movie that you're gonna love, man. It's really great. Yeah,
Oh, that's
definitely.
awesome.
Because by 71, Elton John had already come and made his mark there, and
Okay.
that's where he blew up was
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
Troubadour, and so by then in 71 he was just coming back to enjoy the love and the praise and the excitement and the fantasy, the rock and roll fantasy of it all.
Oh
Yeah.
man, did you spend you spent some time? You lived out in LA. Did you spend much time at the Troubadour? Did you have you played the Troubadour?
I did play the Troubadour. I finally played the Troubadour opening for Tyrone Wells, of all
Nice,
people.
nice.
Yeah, man, and that was pretty damn cool. But yeah, I saw quite a few bands play the Troubadour, and that place is, shit. That's just that's everything you read about. I mean, like after enough years out there, you go through. I played the Whiskey, the Roxy, the Viper Room, and yeah, I don't know how many of these places are even still open for business, but the Troubadour was definitely like a big notch in my belt, and
Dude, that's
felt like,
awesome.
fuck yeah, I did it. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just cool. Venues like that, you almost feel the ghost of the moment. You feel I remember when I was touring with Cowboy Mouth and we went to like the Fillmore in San
Mm,
Francisco and you just walk in and you're like, yep, this is pretty cool. This is pretty
heard
sweet.
that. Yeah.
Like just thinking of the moments and the legends and well, dude, that's pretty awesome. Well, I will put links to all of that down below because that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So, well, dude,
Yeah,
thanks so
man.
much. Thanks for
Dude,
joining us. And
my pleasure. These are a few of my favorite things.
like I said, man, everybody. One, it's so fun, and this is what I love about it because with almost everyone I do this with, it becomes really not my three things. It's my 47 things because we all are. Like you think about, like, oh, I'm watching this. Oh my God, I saw
Have
this.
you seen such
And
and
like you just did. Like from Ted Lasso to the summer of 1971. Like,
such?
and that's what I love, and that's what
Yeah.
It's fun to see. It's also fun to me to see guys like you and whatnot, like just get excited about it. And that's what's fun to me also is seeing all of us, like when you get passionate about something like Joni Mitchell, seeing you get amped up about it just is contagious, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having me, dude. This is super cool. Great to see your face again, buddy.
Oh, dude, can't wait, and hopefully we'll see you in person sooner than later. Uh, Tony Lucca, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me, Tony, and sharing all of those excellent things. As always, I'll put the links down below so you can check out the things that Tony shared and those excellent things, as well as links to Tony's MoVerb Lounge Sessions. He's on season 4 of that, and you can check those out. We'll put the links down below so you can please check out everything Tony is doing, and hopefully go see him live as he comes to a town near you. Thanks again, Tony. That's it. Another episode of My Three Things is in the books. As always, mention it, share it, tell your friends about it. My Three Things podcast, hashtag it, and let us know what you think. As I said, until next time, thanks everybody. See ya.